Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen.
Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 182nd Rome Total War game, Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. And this is a bonus battle as I've got a week off. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who has bought the Rome Julio faction. Steve Longshanks and myself were the people that introduced the 31k game to the RTW community, just in case you didn't know that one. And then we have Brotherhood member Lion Dwarf, who has also bought the Rome Julio faction. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. So there's our team there, lots of experience, should be a good one for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Gladius, who has bought the Rome Bruto faction. And then we have RTW player 8ball, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction. And then we have Brotherhood member Crazy Wolf, who's also bought the Rome SBQR faction. So there's the other team there. Great players, full of experience. This should be a good one for you to watch. Okay, so the plan for this battle is for both Steve Longshanks and Lion to double team attack Crazy Wolf SBQR's army there on our right flank. These two are going to do a double attack there, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to act as a blocker, trying to hold back any reinforcements that may try to come up through the front of their battle line there. So I'm going to be the blocker, and those two are going to be the attacking armies there onto that right flank. So it'll be interesting to see how this plan goes. Very often when we fight, we just seem, we kind of react to the developments. But this is the plan here, so let's see how well it's going to work. Okay, so right at the very early stage of the battle, as you know the plan now, you can see that Lion Dwarf and Steve Longshanks are moving over to our right flank there. Obviously with a view to carrying out the plan, I think Steve's going to try and pin our SBQR army that we're attacking there, and then Lion Dwarf's going to go around the right flank and attack from the flank. That's the plan there. As you can see, my blue Scipio army there is going to try and act as a blocker to stop any reinforcements coming down the front of their battle line there. Right, as you can see, Steve moving over in a very aggressive manner there. As I say, his job is to try and pin the SBQR army, hold them there, while Lion Dwarf moves up around the right flank. As you can see, Lion's moving around the right there. And as you can see, Steve's attacking very aggressively. If you notice that the enemy SBQR cavalry are doing a counter attack there, coming in there onto Steve Longshanks' army. But Steve's still attacking. Notice he's going in with cavalry and infantry. If you notice, Lion Dwarf's going around the right flank, but also sending units in to engage the SBQR units there as well. If you notice now that the Crazy Wolf with his SBQR cavalry are charging in there to try and counter attack Steve's army. If you notice, I'm sending in my Scipio cavalry there as well in trying to assist. What we're trying to do is to break that right flank as quickly as we can, so we can then turn our armies onto attacking the other enemy armies that are there. If you notice that that right flanking movement at the moment is doing quite well. We've routed a lot of the enemy SBQR infantry units there. Let's just pause the game for a second to take stock of exactly what's happened in this early stage of the battle. As you can see, that right flank in action seems to have worked quite well. As I say, we've routed a lot of the enemy SBQR units on that right flank. If you can see, the other enemy armies are sending in reinforcements there to try and prop up that right flank. As you can see, my arm is moved, if you like, sideways across Steve Longshank's flank there to stop any reinforcements coming through the front. Let's just see what happens next. As you can see, the enemy cavalry are counter-attacking Lion Dwarf's right flanking movement, and Steve Longshank's, as I say, hitting them going in through the front door, if you like, where Lion Dwarf's going in through the side door there, as we're trying to take out the SBQR army. As I said, that's the plan, and then we can then concentrate our 3 armies on and make it into a kind of a 3v2 there. That's the plan anyway. So there's a lot going on. If you notice, I've moved my Scipio cavalry out to the right flank as well to assist with this as soon as possible, because I think with this plan, speed is the essence. The sooner we can knock out that army, the sooner we can start focusing on the other 2 armies there. So that's why we're trying to do this as fast as we can. Meanwhile, if you notice, my blocking army now is being attacked quite fiercely by the enemy SBQR units there. If you notice, they brought the SBQR units, some of the SBQR units out to my flank there, ready to attack. Right, let's just pause the game for a second to see what's actually happened here. As you can see, the right flank in action here. There's only a few of Crazy Wolf's units left there. I think it's about 5 infantry units left. We've routed the rest. So as you can see, initially here, our plan has worked well, and we've done a lot of damage to that right flank of the enemy. But as you can see here, the SBQR Roman army now is attacking my blocking army very fiercely. Plus I've got units off to my right as well. As you can see, the enemy are the green and the purple, so they can attack me on my flank as well. So my army is really hard pressed there, trying to, as I say, be a blocker there, stopping reinforcements getting through. And as you can see, speed is the essence here. We really need to take out that right flank army as fast as we can. Right, if you notice there's some enemy Brutii cavalry there engaged with our Julii allies there. If you notice, I'm sending my Scipii cavalry in there to help them try and take them out as soon as we can. Wisely there, if you notice that the Brutii generals retreated his cavalry there. If he'd have stood there, probably would have had a lot of units routed. So now we seem to have taken out a lot of that Brutii cavalry there. Meanwhile, over on our left here, you can see that my blocking army is being really intensified, attacked there by the enemy. And as I said, my job is there just to try and hold as long as I can, allowing my allies to try and do as much damage as they can to the enemy. If you notice here, you can see that the enemy Brutii. Let's just pause the game for a second. Take stock of what's actually happening. Can you see that I've got my Scipii cavalry round behind the enemy lines, but the Brutii general has noticed this and is bringing infantry units out to try and counter my cavalry there. So he's aware that I've got my cavalry units in behind. Of course, I'd like to smash into the back of those engaged enemy troops, but he's aware of this, and that's why he's brought his infantry out there to try and counter my cavalry. Nice move there by the Brutii general. As you can see, there's still Brutii cavalry attacking our Julii cavalry teammate there. Let's say this is an overview of the battle, just to let you see exactly what's happening at this time. Let's see what happens next. If you notice there, my Scipii cavalry there, I don't want to get into any, if you like, trench warfare with the infantry, because I know my cavalry would lose. So I'm just going to back my cavalry off at the moment, just to see if I can see a target through those Brutii infantry that I could hit that cause most damage to the enemy team there. But with that big mass of Brutii infantry coming towards me, I have to be careful with my cavalry. Over here on the right, you can see that our victorious Julii allies there are moving across from right to centre, obviously with a view to take out as many enemy units from the flank as he can. If you notice, my blue Scipii army here is still under a heck of a lot of pressure there by the intense enemy attack. Almost surrounded now. Right, you can see I'm bringing in my Scipii cavalry here. Now I think I'm going to smash through this, possibly smash through that Brutii infantry, but I didn't. If you notice, that Brutii infantry has stopped that several units of my cavalry going through. So in effect, I've only got 3 cavalry units going in for the hit there. So obviously I didn't have the numbers and the impact that I wanted to affect that enemy SBQR infantry that's attacking my infantry there. If you notice that the SPQR general here is still throwing in cavalry units to attack my Julii ally that's put some units in to try and help me there. But it's all up in the air at the moment on that left flank. Right, if you notice, I've got 3 units of my Scipii cavalry there that I've seen. I can go into the rear of the engaged enemy troops. If you notice, my Julii ally is charging his cavalry at the same time, so we've kind of sandwiched those SPQR units there. That was a nice combination cavalry hit there. Right, let's just pause the game here for us to take stock of exactly what's happened. So you can see we've charged in there, we've routed a lot of those SPQR units that were there. But if you look, you can still see there's loads of Brutii infantry left. And if you look carefully, you can see there's lots of SPQR infantry left as well. So we've still got a lot of work to do if our initial tactic and plan is to work here. As you can see, my Scipii blocking army now is only down to a few units that's left. I think they've done a good job in managing to hold the enemy up for as long as I can. If you notice that Steve Longshank's got some Julii units in there helping me as well. But there's a lot of pressure here on our left flank. Yeah, if you notice that several of Steve's units are just routed here over on the left flank, there you can see that SPQR cavalry just charged in and has now routed Steve's general. So of course, as we've seen in other battle videos, now his general's been routed, the morale of his troops will drop. So this game is really in the balance at the moment. As you saw from the initial attack we did on that right flank, it seemed to be quite successful, but we seem to have got bogged down now with the good tactics and strategy of the enemy team. Right, if you just see my general, just pause again for a second, my general has just been routed. So the morale of the rest of my army is now going to fall. If you notice, I think I've only got 3 infantry units left now. And I got about 4 or 5 really battle damaged cavalry units left as well. So my army has been pretty decimated there, but they're still managing to hold. With this army, I've got some stripes on some of the units, so that's probably why they're managing to hold so long. If they were only gold, I'm pretty sure they would have routed by now. As you can see, we've got a lot of our Julii ally moving over. Right, there's my general has just been actually killed there.
Because of his foolishness. His men will lose heart.
I've just charged in, I think 5 of my 5 battle damaged cavalry units there, but because they were so battle damaged, I'm afraid they they didn't really do a lot as they charged in there. So from success on our right, it looks like our left now may be in danger of collapsing with the ferocity of the aggressive enemy attack here. If you notice, some more of my Scipii units are now routing. I think I've got 1 cavalry unit left and 2 infantry units left now. That's our allies' general's just been killed. So that's obviously going to lower the morale of his troops as well.
But in battle, it's beyond belief.
So remember that the enemy are the green and the purple. Let's just pause the game for a sec. If you notice here that on our left flank here, I've got, I think, 2 infantry units left now. But if you notice, it's the green and the purple of the enemy team. So if you look at how many troops they've got left, and remember that we are the red and the blue. And if you look at the troop figures on both, the troop numbers on both, you'll see that it's pretty well even at the moment. And bearing in mind we did so well at the beginning of the battle, I think the other team's done really well to kind of, you know, almost turn this around. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next there. Right, so you see, one of my infantry units is an eagle unit up at the top there. Well, it's right in the middle of the enemy troops, so I shouldn't think he's going to hold very long. As you know, urban units hold a lot longer than an eagle unit will, so I'm not sure if that eagle unit's going to hold all that well up there. As I say, I think I've got 1 very battle damaged cavalry unit left, and as I say, 2 infantry units left. Right over here, Lion Dwarf has turned his army onto a couple of the enemy Brutii infantry units that were attacking. Right, if you notice that my eagle unit has just routed now, so I've got 1 infantry unit left, and I think I've got 1 extremely battle damaged cavalry unit left. So my army's actually kind of been decimated, really. Really great aggressive attacking by the enemy team there. So just to remind you that it's the purple and the green are the enemy team, and the red and the blue are our team here. So as you can see, it's really in the balance at the moment. Just to say fair play to the other team there, because as you saw at the beginning, our plan seemed to work quite well. We seemed to break their right flank and destroy most of the SPQ army that was there, but they've done well to kind of turn this around now and make this such a struggle. As you can see, my last infantry unit is charged in behind there, and my battle damaged cavalry unit is just charged in there, and our team seem to have managed to go on and win the battle there. Just like to say, really well played to everybody in the team. I thought Crazy Wolf, 8-Ball and Gladius did extremely well to bring the battle so close, because as I say, at the beginning when we kind of broke their right flank, I thought, well, that's going to be it, we'll just start rolling them up from the right to the left, but they fought back so well, so really well done to them, and really well done to Lion Dwarf and Steve Longshanks. It was their idea to do this double attack on the right flank, and I think they've been working at this strategy for a while now, and they're both very good at it. So really well done to them. I thought the aggressive way they attacked was really good. So really well done to them. And I thought my army did quite well at holding there. As I say, my infantry, a lot of my infantry units have got stripes on, so they can hold against attacks for quite a long time, because that experience stripe does make a difference at them holding. So yeah, so really well done to Lion Dwarf and Steve. And as I say, nice aggressive move by the enemy team there. New players watching this, if you've got a battle plan at the beginning of the game and you stick to that battle plan, very often you can do quite well. In most games though, we kind of react to the situation. So it's Spartan Commander saying hope you enjoyed the battle and look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.